off with that. All right. So right now we're recording, and Mark can do whatever editing he wants with this. But welcome everybody to Hamdamonium 2020.
Woo!
So after the idea,
so socially distant 2020.
Cheers, cheers, cheers.
Cheers.
Stay down east.
Well, it's socially distant, but it's not dysfunctionally distant.
I don't even use that word. I use physically distant, socially connected. And
I think I'm pretty distant. Can you put the Blues Boys by each other?
Do I have to mute all you guys?
Yes.
Sooner or later.
So after the idea that some of us came up with a virtual Cam's Ham shift, we decided we would have a meeting first before this shift, like we usually do, but this would be on Zoom, so we would get used to Zoom, and so that we would have a plan around when we would do it and the theme. And I should have known. Once you have more than two hams together, plans go out the window. So thinking about what happened, I'm thinking, that was a complete Hamdamonium. Well, yeah, there's the name for it. So it just happened. So when Hamdamonium happens, you got only two choices. Get the hell out of the way. Oh, did I say no? Or
get the ham out of the way.
Hang on and enjoy the ride. So everybody hop on, hang on, enjoy the ride. You know, the Marvel Universe has its Avengers, as I mentioned. The CKOA Volunteer Universe has its hams. So hopefully before everything just goes completely wild and we're all talking over each other, I'm going to ask each ham to talk about their own personal origin story. And I'm going to start over here with Jill.
Hi everybody.
Hi, Jill.
Hey.
Hi, Jill.
Hey, Jill.
I started, I really truly remember exactly when I started working at 6 o'clock in the morning to do the pledge drive, but I used to do it 3 or 4 mornings a week and then go to work. And it was quite fun. And just went on, well, I started in 97 volunteering, so I probably started somewhere in there. And then we had a regular group that came in every 6 o'clock in the morning, and it was a very funny group of people. There was lots of craziness, lots of laughter, lots of talk, and lots of great jokes. And one day, Cam came out of the broadcast booth and he said, "You guys are all a bunch of hams." And we said, "That's it, we're Cam's Hams." So cheers, guys. Nice to be with you.
Yay.
Okay, Judy, you're next.
Well, in 97, I was actually running a restaurant in Seychelles, so I wasn't around. And when I got back to Alberta, I tuned into CKUA, which I had listened to previously. And one morning, I heard Cam go on talking about his hams. Well, here's my Cam's Hams, and he introduced everybody. And I thought to myself, hey, I like this show. I'm a ham. My last name's Ham. I would like to be part of this group. So so I phoned Maureen Workman, who was the volunteer coordinator at the time. And she said to me, well, you have to obviously apply. And she said, you know, they're a very tight-knit group. They're very tight-knit. Like they don't just, because they were, like Jill, you guys all loved each other. And there's only room for so many people in one room at a time, you know, like 8, 9 people, 10 people. At that time, everybody phoned in. There wasn't online yet. So anyways, I filled it out and I said, hey, Maureen, I'll bring muffins. I'll do whatever it takes to get into this group. And they let me in. And, you know, I remember, like you said, Jill, working, like it was an 18-day run and we'd work every day during the week that Cam was on. We were there. And there was Steve and Huggy Duggy and Wes and Ken Segert and Fred Cates and Jill and Jan and the Rhythm Pals. I mean, those guys weren't there, but I mean, it was just such a wonderful thing. And if you missed a day, you kind of felt sad about it. But anyways, I'm in and I love it. End of story.
Cool. Great, Judy. And Mike.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what?
Elwood.
Elwood. It's Jake.
Oh, Jake. Sorry.
He's Jake.
Elwood's the tall guy. So,
down in the corner.
So because Judy kind of talked about how far back you go with CKUA, I go back quite a ways, a long ways. But there's a little story to why I kind of came in at the hams a little bit at the end. So I wrote a little poem. That's why these glasses.
Oh,
No,
right.
it's not really a poem, but
Way
it
too
kind of
creative.
follows the theme. One day I was listening on a ham radio. I heard about people answering phones, and to ensure the future of CKUA was not hampered. And if successful, it might mean a studio fit for the Hamptons. So I jumped in my trusty Hamero and drove straight to CKUA. After I hambled in, I said, "Here I ham, hate to see ham and the other hams, and the morning big ham. I was ham pointed, and now a ham I am." And it's Hamadocious.
Oh, right.
Oh, this is awesome.
So the one thing that I can say, starting right from the front end, and I don't remember my first shift with all of you guys, but it has always been boisterous, and we've had really free and open conversations, and sometimes free and open libations. It just depends on what was going on, but it's been a fun gig. I think this group truly represents everybody that volunteers for CKUA. So
That's true.
I'm lucky to be working with you guys, and
Aw.
I don't have the time in that all the rest of you do with all the other shifts, because our shift that we always ran on Friday mornings is the most fun. So stay in there.
Yeah. Aw.
All right.
And
Yay!
Hands down, that was good.
Love it.
Hey,
Diana.
hey, Mike, the cow pie shuffle.
the cowboy
Oh,
shuffle,
that'll be
we'll
next.
do it.
Right. I'm actually not a ham.
That's an original.
I ended up, well, I initially started volunteering because I worked in psychiatry. I needed a balance in my life, and crazy people were not supposed to be part of it. And so I started volunteering. And anyway, as it all progressed, then I ended up being the gopher person. And so I go for food.
You brought us food.
And yes, I do believe there are ham sandwiches that come on some days. Anyway, so it started then that I was working as shift manager for most of the days, and so it then became that I got to be part of the Fridays, which was the absolute bonus. And when the costumes came in, like that's the end all and be all. That was pretty fun. So I'm
And it still is.
happy to be part of it all.
Aw.
You're a ham. And so is Alana.
Well, I'm also kind of a latecomer to this group. I started volunteering at CKUA in 2003. I think it was all Stu's fault. We met through work, and we talked about maybe 5 minutes about work, and then it went, so what do you do for fun? And he says, oh, I volunteer for CKUA. And I say, well, I've been listening to CKUA since I came to Canada in 1980, and it's great. And he says, well, what are you waiting for? So there. It was also a time I needed to get out of a rut. I needed to do something different. And I'm not much of a morning person. So I figured 6 o'clock shift is a perfect fit. You know, that's where I'm going to find my inner self. So
You're inner morning person.
Well, I'm still not a morning person, but Fridays in spring and fall campaigns, it's I don't sleep the night before just to make sure I'm up and about. I did not have to go through the hoops that Judy did. I sort of said, well, Friday seems like a good time. And Maureen said, sure. So I showed up, and this was the friendliest, funniest, craziest, most welcoming, passionate group I've ever worked with. So in my notes here, it says, this is just about everything that's true about everything CKUA, and it's just awesome.
We'll
I have
drink
a
to that.
Yeah.
My son, I just want to say one more thing that my son, who knows that I'm not a morning person, he says every time I mention that, you know, I'm not going to sleep tonight because tomorrow is the fundraiser. And he says, why do you go at 6 o'clock in the morning? And I said, well, these friends of mine, I see them twice a year and we just have to do this. And he says, well, you got to find new friends. And there's no way. I'm not going out to find any new friends. I have the best.
Cheers.
Yay.
Hear, hear.
Cheers.
Hear, hear.
So it's great to be part of
Okay,
this.
Donna.
Hello. Well, I guess I can't quite remember when I started to volunteer at CKUA, but it's got to be about 1996, maybe 95. And the morning shift was the best one to be because after that I had to go to work. And to do the morning shift, I would show up at work late. But my employer was also a big CKUA supporter, so that was okay with him. I could take all the time I want to come and work late. And it's been fun. It's, I am the quiet, laid back person of the group. Didn't always get through the dress up thing. That was beyond my imagination half the time. I stayed at the table and kept answering the phone and ringing the bell because you were the owner.
It's true. It's true. We were all dancing. She stayed at the table.
Yeah,
She was on the
somebody had to
phone.
do it.
I was the conscientious one that got the work done.
Still good.
It's all true.
Thank you, Donna. And now our bumblebee, Carmen.
Hi. Well, I could share some of the same stories that other people have shared. I was a latecomer, and I actually didn't even know I was a Cam's Ham until we started this a couple days ago. So happy to be one. Thank you.
We sneak up on you.
You've
Yeah,
assimilated
so
well.
I started volunteering with CKUA somewhere around 2007, again, sort of late, and I didn't have that same initiation process either. I chose Friday morning. Can I come Friday morning? Yeah. And I mean, I had been living on Vancouver Island and I moved back to Edmonton. So I was just trying to find new friends, new interests, and well, when you start listening to CKUA, you realize the community and the integrity and the excitement and the fun that that station just puts out there. So you want to be part of that, right? And so that's how I started. And, you know, and then from that, you know, you meet people at festivals like Judy and Jill, of course. Edmonton Folk Fest, Interstellar Rodeo, Blues Fest, Calgary Folk Fest, you know, and it just becomes part of your life. And I'm happy to be here buzzing around.
Yeah. And contrary to popular belief, we're not a cult because we let you go home at night.
Yeah.
No Kool-Aid.
Okay, Mel,
At least
you're
not
up.
purple Kool-Aid.
Elwood.
Hi there. I got involved first probably when the station went down for a bit in the 90s, and I worked for EdTel at that time, so I was kind of somewhat helpful, I think, in getting some organizing done to get some phone lines hooked up for support, that kind of thing. And then I got involved, I suppose, a little bit later than that. I wasn't involved with CAM, but I do remember trudging or going up the elevator in the old CKUA building, and it was like a rickety old thing, but it finally got you up to the 5th floor, I believe. And then you had to stand there and wait endlessly to get into, get somebody to open the door for you. Then you trudge down this long hallway and then up some rickety old stairs. And those are the good old days in the old building. But it was probably been involved for quite a few years now, and I really enjoy it. And I especially miss this year.
Yeah.
With COVID stuff, it's not the same at all. But anyhow, it's good to have good friends involved, and all the volunteers that come in every morning, and they're a great, easy bunch to get to know, and I'm really happy that I got involved with it. So thanks.
Aw.
Hey,
Mel.
and
There
Steve,
you go, Elwood.
Steve Otto.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm one of the old timers here.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly when. It would have been like 93 or 94 I started volunteering. I know
Wow.
Mhm.
I can still remember the first fundraiser that CKUA had when we had a $30,000 pledge or $30,000 goal.
Oh,
Wow.
And I didn't pledge that year. I started pledging the year after, and then I think it was a year or two after that. It was, well, I better volunteer too.
Mhm.
And like Donna, I could go into work late, so the 6 a.m. shift was just great for me. And yeah, the same thing what people have said. It was just a great bunch of people. It still is a great bunch of people, and it was a highlight to come in. And some of you might remember when we had like 3 weeks of pledge drive. It was
yeah.
Yes.
20 days.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I don't know if anybody else would still remember all we had was donut or bagels and cream cheese for breakfast.
Yeah.
And the bagels only came fresh at the start of the campaign. By the end of the 3 weeks, they're getting pretty hard. But I do want to add what I think is the origin story of the dress up.
Mhm.
Because
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah.
it was before 97, and in the fall campaign, it was going to end on the Saturday, and the Friday night at the end of the campaign was October 31st, just happened. And I'm pretty sure it was Leon Isco and Lark Clark were talking up how they were going to have a Halloween spectacular, and they were going to be announcing this thing in costume.
Mhm.
And of course, the hams were, a lot of us were on most weekdays, and we sort of heard that, well, we better come in costume on Friday too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, show the support. And I'm pretty sure that was the start of the, okay, everybody get a costume. And of course, after it's no longer Halloween, the next spring we had to come up with, well, what? We like this so much. It's so much fun. What's the theme? It's not Halloween
Inhibitions
anymore.
are out.
Huh?
The inhibitions are gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, well, hearing Maureen Worksman's name brings me back an awful lot, and how much trouble she had to get us to stop opening wine up with our breakfast.
He did.
I remember Wes decided what exactly was the best wine to go with pancakes.
That he ate with his chopsticks.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Steve. And I want to just raise a mug to a volunteer who's no longer with us, sadly.
Yes.
But I remember, especially when I look back to the mornings, Dick Crawshaw.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He would sit there and he would insist the lights be turned off.
Yes.
till the
Until-
That was the first call. Yeah. That
till
was
the first batch came in.
I was one of Dick's chicks.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
here-
think Cam used to do that too all the time.
Yeah.
Cam used to make us stand up sometimes if we hadn't had a call. He would make
Yeah.
us all stand up, and you couldn't sit down until you got a phone call.
Yeah.
It was, and also, you know, on that vein, Wes and Dougie, you know,
Yeah.
cheers to all those guys we've
Yeah.
lost.
Cheers
right?
to our good friends
Cheers.
It had a very
Dougie.
No
special,
children.
and everybody that's left us. Yes.
And I remember,
It had a very special chair that he wanted to
Yes.
at a
Oh,
yeah,
particular,
absolutely.
His chair.
particular corner of the table.
Uh-huh.
Because I was there at 6 o'clock in the morning, I had to make sure I got that chair in the corner, and I had to sit there until he came
Save it.
at 9 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah.
And did Dick start the bells too?
Yes, he
Big
did.
Daddy
Pretty
Crawshaw.
sure he did, yeah.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
he did.
He did.
God, he was funny.
Bells. We got bells.
Bells, yeah.
We used to work with Dick all the time and had this deal. If anybody had a pledge that was over any single male, well, we couldn't quite tell whether they were single or not, but anybody with a pledge over $50 a month, I needed to know about.
And I would hear Dick talk somebody up from
Yes.
whatever
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
decide.
Oh, he rose the ante.
did.
Yep.
That's
And
cool.
while Dick was in the pledge room, his wife Miriam was downstairs
Yeah,
doing
doing-
that.
Yeah.
And it was from listening to thanking Miriam Crawshaw doing data entry that I wanted to get into data entry someday. And the last few years, yep, I can go in and do a data entry.
See, Marianne used to come up too. Marianne came upstairs until she couldn't get up the stairs anymore. Like her hips were so bad. So that's when she started getting into data.
Yeah. And I think I was a phone volunteer before 97. Then 97, we had the big shutdown. And then eventually I got over my fear of some of the, I remember Beth McKinley and Marie Scarlett was just as shift leaders.
Oh yeah.
They set the pace for me. They set the pace for me, but I've decided I'd become a shift leader, and I did late nights and I did mornings. On my very first shift as a shift leader, we would have to, you had this adding machine and tape, and you had to put the numbers up. And
on the tote board.
And you take the total from the tape before, and then you just start going. And this was one of those really busy morning shifts. I get in, I read the total off, I enter that into my machine, I start batching the pledges, and then I got to put the total up, and I put the total up on the board, and I'm back in. And Cam, and this is in his biker, big mustachio day, and his leathers, comes out and says, "Stuart, yes, Cam. The total's going the wrong way. Fix it."
I'm not giving money away here.
Something else, and I got the wrong total up on the board.
Oh no!
So the adding machine, you had to make sure that you pressed add in between. So I had one where I failed to press add, so it was an extra several $1,000s that went on the board. So then all of the pledges had to try and catch up to.
Oh my God!
I don't know, $30,000 more or something.
And then at the end of your shift, you had to go in that little room and try to
make it balance.
Oh, right.
Yes.
And but what's the biggest thing? We all miss that tote board.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Remember the cow pie shuffle went tote board.
Yep.
And the cow pie shuffle, like tote board, slap your ass, milk the cow.
We should probably and shovel it. Horse exhaust.
Stu, when did you become a ham?
Well, if that wasn't enough, I just think, like Wes, I was on a number of different shifts, including the cams. And so when Wes wasn't there, I was there. And at that time, we also had Friends of CKUA chapters, you remember?
Right.
And Wes was the first president.
Yeah.
Then I took over from Wes as he was getting ill. And
I have to bring these out. These are the little piggies.
Perfect.
This one says Diane. This one says, I don't remember who that is. That's me. That's Judy Pig.
Yeah.
That's Wes Pig. Here is
those are hams.
Dougie Pig.
Those are hams. They're not pigs. They're hams.
Yes. And here is Donna.
Hams.
There's Donna, and then there's Jill, and who else? Neil. Sorry, and I can't. Neil's way over here. I'm trying to find Jill here. That's Cam. Steve. I got Steve. I got Wes. Let's see.
That's great.
Judy and Jill. Yeah, Jill. So they're all. I had 2 rows of those, and I remember hanging them up. Hanging them up in the.
You had 2 rows.
I had 2 rows.
Now she has
but
none.
they were really. I remember decorating in the, as you mentioned, Donna, which was so cool that you mentioned that, because I went digging around in my, under the staircase. It took me about half an hour to find the darn things, but anyways, yeah, that was fun.
Mentioning Neil Brooker, in spring campaign, it always landed with his birthday sometime in a week. So I always had to wish Neil happy birthday on April the 25th. Mm-hmm. And I still remember that date.
Yeah, and mine too.
Judy's birthday too.
Yeah, because mine's April 22nd, so it often ended up during fundraiser as well.
Yeah. And Ellie in the fall campaign, and we do that song, Call Me Elle.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Do you remember when Mike made that trophy? What was that?
Oh my God! Oh my God! When we had to bring in our instrument, our musical instrument, and you brought in the
crankshaft.
Oh, the
crankshaft.
crankshaft. Yeah, that was a very high dollar crankshaft I brought in because it rang. That was my Hugh Masekela impersonation.
Remember, Lark played it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I could have brought it in today because it's just in the garage. I never did use it.
I remember you hauling it up those stairs, and you just about died.
Well, yeah,
What
it was
year would
almost.
that have been?
Oh.
That was 2011 because I just found all those photos and I sent them to Mark. So I hope he gets them. And we have a number of those really interesting.
So you had pictures? You had pictures of the musical instruments?
She has a picture of the group of us with them all.
Oh, that's tremendous.
Yeah.
That's already been sent over to Karen and Mark.
I had a banjo. Brian even put frets on it. I had an old frying pan, and he put frets and strings on it, and it was called a banjo. And
somebody had the washboard and the crankshaft, and
Fred had a kind of like a
tripod,
a harp that he made out of a tripod.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. We should do that again.
That's a good one.
This time I'll make. I'll add you.
So Tony King followed Cam as morning host, right?
Yes.
No, there was
Dave Ward, I think, was before Tony.
Dave Ward and then Tony, right?
Yeah, because we were trying to be Dave's slaves for a while.
Dave's slaves, Bob's knobs.
Bob was after Dave.
And then the Kingpins.
Yeah. Bob's
Tony
knobs.
The Kingpins.
Yeah, and then
remember, Jill, we tried to make Kingpin shirts. We went shopping at Value Village, and we.
I had them for years in my closet. We had all these bowling shirts, and we were putting everybody's names on them. That we were picking up bowling shirts, but we never quite came to fruition on that.
Together. Yeah, never got it
what'd you
together.
do with all those shirts then?
I think when I left my house and moved out, I think I gave them back to Value Village at that time.
You know, you guys, I just remember dancing so much around that old table and in front of the old.
There you go.
1995 to 2001.
What was that all about? Why were we celebrating that?
That's maybe when he quit. When he
that was when he retired.
When he retired from the morning show.
Okay.
Yeah.
That likely would have been when he was in his bike accident.
No,
no, he carried on after that.
No, he carried on after that.
Yeah, because he had
He
that
was gone?
stool,
Okay.
landing, Cam's stool. He'd have to sit between the landings of the stairs. We also had those T-shirts, those Alberta AM.
With the sun. I have mine still, but I can't find it. I mean, I know I have it. Yeah.
There's one at the station because I gave mine to Brianne when before she disappeared on us.
Oh yeah.
Gave her the T-shirt and the Cam's Ham button.
Remember, Jan Warren designed it, and it was like a sunrise, and
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
With
I had to hand it off though; it didn't fit.
So I don't remember that. So are you saying it was like a tequila sunrise or what?
Sorta.
I just can't picture this.
It was more of a red wine sunrise.
We used to have a lot of gatherings. I only attended one, which was at my house. But I had a barbecue, so I was attending it, of course. We had a barbecue, and all the Cams, we'd gather the Cams together during the summer months just to, and we'd invite Cam and, you know, any other announcers that wanted to come, and we'd get together and have a barbecue and just kind of, and you know, that's not such a bad idea, guys.
Mm-hmm.
We might be having a quieter summer. Maybe not even maybe it won't be distancing. Maybe it'll be distancing, but.
You know I pictures from one of those gatherings at Sagert's house.
Ken Sagert's, yeah.
Yeah.
I have some in that album I was showing you.
Yeah. That was fun. Well, when we can all get together again, I think it's definitely going to be a get-together party time. So.
Oh my goodness.
It's cool. It's so nice to see all you guys. I miss you all.
So cheers, everybody, and then I'll stop the recording, and we can just continue.
Cheers.
Yeah, maybe we could do a driveway party if we're still distant.
No, you know what we should do?
What?
We should find a parking lot and then drive there and distance our cars 6 feet apart, open the trunks and work out of that. That's a new way to do it. You just circle the cars.
So it's like a tailgate party with multiple tailgates.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. And every car is going to have CKOA radio on. Yep.
There you go. Sounds good to me.
Across
Yes.
the street from the station.
Oh.
Yeah, we could close off Jasper and do it. What the hell?
Yeah, there's no traffic there anyways.
I think
I'm
there's
sure
a few
Elwood
empty
and I
parking
could
lots
sort that
downtown
out.
these days. Yeah.
I was going to say 6 o'clock in the morning. There's not much going on at the Shaw Convention Center. We could be right out in front of it.
Oh,
Yeah, but
good
you'll also
damn,
be
yeah.
competing with the jackhammers as they're tearing up Jasper right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
That's
all
not
I
to tell you guys, the costumes that you've come out with, Steve, Blues Brothers, everybody, the costumes have been like so incredible. And I just think,
The
you know,
Hanson
what
brothers.
an effort you all put into
But, you
having
know,
fun. Like my kids used to say, Mom, like you're 65 years old, you're going dressed up like to work. I leave the station, go to work, and they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, this is
You know
Cam's
what?
Hams, you know?
all of the costumes were great, but
Yeah.
and you know, we had lots of themes over the years, but we were quite rebellious that one year when we all dressed as
Food.
food.
That's
Judy's
mine.
got hers
Food.
on.
You
I've
know,
got
the
my
best.
food on.
I
Yeah.
think that said lots about this group. We took a stand against
Yes.
a
Sorry,
You
Donna.